Do you remember the smell of a new toy straight out of the box? The jingle of commercials on Saturday morning cartoons? Back then, toys didn't just entertain us, they shaped our childhoods. But let's be honest, some of them were downright dangerous. Still, we loved them anyway. Today, we're flipping back through time to look at 10 toys from the 1960s and 70s that would never be allowed today. They were wild, they were fun, and they definitely wouldn't pass safety tests now. 1. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. Yes, you heard that right. A science kit with actual radioactive material marketed to kids. Released in 1950 but still sold through the early 60s, this educational lab came with real uranium ore and a Geiger counter. The idea was to teach kids about nuclear energy, but it's hard to imagine handing that to a 10-year-old today. It was short-lived, banned quickly once safety concerns piled up. Still, it remains one of the most shocking toys to ever hit store shelves. 2. Clackers. If you grew up in the early 70s, chances are you had a pair of these, or you heard them from a block away. Clackers were 2 acrylic balls attached to a string. Kids would swing them up and down until they clacked together with a loud crack. But here's the problem. The balls sometimes shattered, sending sharp plastic flying like shrapnel. Eventually, schools and parents banned them. But for a brief moment, clackers were the coolest and loudest toy on the block. 3. Creepy Crawlers Thing Maker. This toy let kids pour liquid plastic into metal molds, then bake them in a plug-in oven to make their own bugs and monsters. Sounds fun, right? Until you realize it got extremely hot, up to 400 degrees. Burns were common, and the goo itself wasn't exactly safe to inhale. Still, the joy of popping out a rubbery spider with your own hands was unforgettable. Today, the toy has been redesigned, but it's nowhere near as risky or exciting. 4. Jarts Lawn Darts. Jarts were a backyard game where you toss giant metal darts into plastic rings. Seems simple until someone gets hit. These darts were heavy, sharp, and could easily puncture skin or worse. By the mid-1980s, they were linked to serious injuries and even a few deaths. They were eventually banned in the US, but many boomers remember them as a summer staple. In hindsight, playing with miniature spears might not have been the best idea. 5. The Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid. This doll didn't just pretend to eat. It actually chewed. Kids could feed it plastic fries or carrots, and its motorized jaw would gobble them up. But there was a problem. It wouldn't stop. It chewed hair, fingers, even clothes. Anything that got too close. After too many injury reports, the doll was pulled from shelves. Still, for a short time, it was every kid's dream toy and every parent's nightmare. 6. Battlestar Galactica missile-firing ships. Inspired by the hit show, these toys came with spring-loaded missiles you could actually fire. But after a young boy tragically choked on one, the outcry was swift. The toy was recalled, and soon, laws were passed about projectile sizes and safety standards. Collectors today might still own them, but toy companies learned a big lesson. If it shoots, it better be safe. 7. Johnny Reb Cannon. This Civil War-themed toy was a miniature cannon kids could load with plastic cannonballs and actually fire. Made in the early 60s, it was sold as a fun way to play history. But not only was it dangerous, launching objects at high speeds, it also sparked criticism for glorifying Confederacy. Over time, public opinion changed, and toys like Johnny Reb faded away. Today, it stands as a reminder of how much both safety and culture have evolved. 8. Six Finger. This toy looked like an extra finger that strapped onto your hand, but it wasn't just for laughs. It could shoot plastic bullets, bombs, and even a message missile. Kids loved it for its spy gadget flair, but it raised eyebrows for how easily it resembled and functioned like a weapon. It disappeared not because of injuries, but because the idea of giving kids a secret shooter became a little too real. Still, for a few years, it was a James Bond fantasy made plastic. 9. Real chemistry sets. Back in the day, chemistry kits weren't just vinegar and baking soda. They came with real alcohol burners, glass beakers, and chemicals that could cause reactions you wouldn't believe. It was hands-on science and a recipe for disaster. As regulations tightened in the 70s and 80s, the kits were watered down. But ask any science-loving kid from that era, and they'll tell you, those old sets made them feel like real inventors. 10. The Barbie Growing Up Skipper Doll. Released in 1975, this Barbie doll had a growing up feature. When you twisted her arm, she literally grew taller and developed a bust. It was marketed as a way to teach girls about puberty, but many parents were uncomfortable and kids didn't quite understand. Critics slammed it for being inappropriate, and it was quietly discontinued. Today, it's one of the most bizarre chapters in Barbie history. Looking back, it's clear the toys we love were wild, weird, and often a little dangerous. But they gave us stories, the kind you tell decades later with a laugh and a shake of the head. Which of these do you remember? Or maybe one that didn't make the list? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And if you enjoyed this little trip back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Here at Old Soul America, we never stop remembering the good old days. See you next time.